Dear students of class 4, I am Mrs. Neha Makkad, and today in this video we are going to discuss the exercise of the poem Leisure. So firstly, we will discuss the working with words given on page number 45. So children, let us first understand what do you mean by prefixes, as the word pre tells you that it comes in front of the word. So prefixes mean a letter or a group of letters that you put at the beginning of the word to change its meaning. Now let us see the examples to understand this. So do you know what these prefixes stand for? So now children, in the word enrich and able, N is the prefix. In the word unlikely, unsuitable, unable, Un is the prefix. In the words incorrect, inability and inaccurate, In is the prefix. In the words dissatisfied and disappear, Dis is the prefix. Now children, let us understand what these prefixes mean. So how do they change the meaning of the word? So now children, the word N means to make more. So enrich means to improve the quality, to enrich the quality of something. Enable, to make somebody able to do something. Now children, in the words unlikely, unsuitable and unable, the word un means not. So the meaning of the word becomes something which is not likely, which is not suitable or not able. Again, the prefix in means not. So incorrect means not correct, inability means not able, and inaccurate means not accurate. Dis again means not. So the word dissatisfied means not satisfied, and the word disappear means not appearing. Copy the prefixes and words into your notebook. Add more to each list. So now children, I have made more words with the prefix N. N, enlighten, enrage, enclose, endear. Now with the prefix un, I have made the words unbelievable, unusual, unnatural, uneven. In, with the prefix in, I have made incomplete, indirect, inactive, inbuilt. With the prefix dis, I have made disapprove, disadvantage, disagree, discomfort. So the prefixes un, in and dis, they mean not. So they are changing it to the opposite meaning. And N means to make more, means to improve the quality of something. In terms of enlightening, in terms of enraging, enclosing and endearing. Now children, using the clues, we have to think of a correct word and write down the first letter of the word. So we fly it, aeroplane, the first letter A. It comes after the day, obviously the night, letter N. Most people have 10 of these, so we all have 10 toes in our feet. So toes, T. 4 tens, obviously 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, 40. So F. A citizen of a country is known as an Indian, I. The title of the poem that we have just read, that is Leisure, L. Not a few, lots, which means many, M. An examination means a test, T. Not the left. So what is the opposite of it? Right, R. What is the liquid that is in the pen for writing? Ink, I. Larger than a town, smallest is a village, then a town, and bigger than the town is the city, C. Married to a queen, that is king, K. Now children, like this we have to make puzzles on our own. So I have made, children like it, it's ice cream. People have this drink in the morning to refresh themselves, that is tea. A place where you can borrow the books for reading, that is the library. Now children, the grammar exercise is based on direct objects and indirect objects. So let us understand what do you mean by direct objects and indirect objects. Direct objects are the words that receive the action of the verb directly. The boy kicked the ball. So kicked is the verb and the action is transferred to the ball and the ball is directly receiving the action of the verb. Always remember, children, that any preposition, adverb or adjective should not come in between the verb and the object. Otherwise, the verb will become intransitive. Here, the action of kicking is directly received by the ball and hence it is the direct object. In indirect objects, they are the words, they do not receive the action of the verb directly. Like for example, I bought a gift for her. So here, her is the indirect object. I will also tell you the technique how to recognize the direct and indirect objects, which we will see in the next slide. How do we come to know that a sentence has a direct object? To determine whether the verb has a direct object, we have to ask the question what after the verb. For example, he wrote the manuscript. The verb is wrote. So you will ask, he wrote what? He wrote the manuscript. The manuscript, which is the object, is directly answered by the question what. So therefore, the manuscript is the direct object and wrote is the transitive verb in the sentence. Now children, how do we come to know that the sentence has an indirect object? To determine whether the verb has an indirect object, we have to ask the question whom after the verb. He gave a present to me. So he gave what? A present. So present becomes the direct object. And the verb is gave. So you have to ask yourself the question, he gave to whom? He gave to me. So gave is the intransitive verb in the sentence and the indirect object is me. Why? Because the question whom is answered by me. Now children, we will solve the exercise of learning about language given on page number 46. So it is about subjects and objects. So firstly understand, what do you mean by subject? Subject is the one who does or performs the action. It can be a noun also, it can be a pronoun also. And it can be more than one person also. It is not necessary that the subject will be only one person. Underline the subjects in the following sentences. The girl ran down the road. So who did the action? The girl did the action of running down. So the girl is the subject. The girl and the boy ran down the road. So now the girl and the boy jointly did the action. So the girl and the boy will be entirely the subject. The tall girl and the short boy climbed the fence. So who climbed? The tall girl and short boy. So here children, we will take the adjective tall and short also into consideration. We will underline it full. 3 old men, 2 young girls and a dog were waiting for the bus. So 3 people were doing the action of waiting. So all 3 will come under the subject. Hence I have underlined the whole thing. The man who gave me the money is sitting in that shop. So now children, here it will be the man who gave me the money. So even if you underline the man, that is sufficient. Now children, direct objects and indirect objects we have just studied now. So what is an object? It is a thing on which the action is performed or which is affected by the action of the verb. So now children, the question what will be answered by the direct object and the question whom will be answered by the indirect object. So now let us have a look at the sentence. She brought me a cake. So she brought what? A cake. So cake will be the direct object. For whom she brought? For me she brought. So me will be the indirect object. It is not necessary that the direct object will come immediately after the verb, and only we have to remember one thing, and that is the questions. What for the direct object and whom for the indirect object. So here children, cake is coming in the end, but still it is the direct object because it is answering the question what. Me is coming before, but it is not the direct object. It will be the indirect object because it is answering the question whom. They gave some food to the traveler. So they gave what? Food. Food becomes the direct object. To whom? The traveler. So the traveler becomes the indirect object. I sang a song for her. So I sang what? A song. So a song becomes the direct object. And for whom? For her. So her becomes the indirect object. The teacher showed the class a video. The teacher showed what? A video. So a video is the direct object, and to whom she showed? The class. The class becomes the indirect object. Now the last exercise, children. You have to use to and you have to change the sentences by putting the word to. So I gave him the book. So here, children, you have to remember one thing. You have to put the object immediately after the verb, and that will help you to put the to in the end. So I gave the book. So I have put the object, the book, immediately after the verb. I gave the book to him. Similarly, in the other sentence, I sent my uncle a letter. So I sent a letter to my uncle. You have put the object first. I lent her my pen. I lent my pen to her. So my pen you will put first and then to her. They showed us the lake. They showed the lake. The lake is the object to us. Thank you, children.